Welcome to Olympic National Park.
Hi friends, we are Sam and Roy, and we have just begun a difficult challenge. We aim to explore 100 national parks, both in the U.S. and abroad, in just 4 years, all before Roy hits the big 6-0 in November of 2028. And guess what? We're balancing this adventure with our full-time, non-remote jobs. Join us on this wild journey to see if we soar to success or stumble along the way. This week, we are at National Park number 18, Olympic National Park in Washington, USA. We started our journey to Olympic National Park driving up Highway 101 along the gorgeous Oregon coast. Olympic National Park is very large and it covers a lot of ground. There's a coastal section and then a mountain section. On our first day, we settled into Forks, Washington, and tackled the coastal district of the park. Ruby Beach was our first stop. It was a short hike down to the beach, and we were surprised to find that it was covered with massive amounts of driftwood that had accumulated there due to the thick groves of trees that grow right up to the sand, and when the trees fall, they become part of the beach environment. We spent about an hour admiring the beach, but we did not dare dip our toes in. There were a few brave souls who did attempt that, but we did not choose to join in. Once we were done at Ruby Beach, we headed back up the trail and then to our campsite at Bogachiel State Park, which was near Forks, Washington, one of the rainiest places in the country and the setting of the Twilight series.
I don't know how long I've waited for you.
This is an excellent place to base yourself for your first night in the park. You'll be able to easily see the park's coastline areas and also the Hoh rainforest from this location. The Bogachiel State Park has excellent amenities. Our particular site did not have full hookups, but there were some that did. Our campsite was very spacious. It has space for 2 large tents and a camper. We were in site number 10. The following morning, we packed up camp and headed to Rialto Beach, which is another famous and gorgeous beach in the northwest corner of the state. We were not able to drive our truck and trailer all the way to the Rialto Beach parking lot. We had to stop about 2.5 miles from the beach parking lot at the ranger station and leave the truck and trailer there. We would have taken our bikes had we known how far it was. We're all for hiking, but this was not a good hike just walking along the highway. It would have been a better use of our time to take the bikes and then hike elsewhere. Also, when we got there, the beach was so fogged in that we weren't able to see much of it. But here's some stock footage of what the beach should look like if it weren't so fogged in. After we finished admiring the beach, we loaded back up into the truck and trailer and continued around Highway 101 towards Port Angeles. As we headed east along the top of the state, our first stop was at the Sol Duck Hot Springs. We were able to snag a reservation, which you can only make in person, by the way, and spent some time soaking in the hot springs, which was very relaxing and definitely a must-do. The cost was around $20 per person, and that was for an hour-and-a-half time slot, which was honestly plenty of time. I don't think we even stayed for the whole hour and a half because we had so many other things that we needed to see and do.
It's nice. After our 5-mile hike this morning.
It wasn't 5 miles.
It was round trip 5 miles.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was. I love you.
Really?
Yeah, it really was 5 miles. It's almost 2.5 there. You love me?
I love you.
We continued down the 101 to Crescent Lake and stopped to admire the lake as well as do a quick waterfall hike. Marymere Falls hike was a quick waterfall hike that was well worth the time. The falls were absolutely beautiful. That night we camped near Port Angeles at the Elwha RV Park and Campground, which was a very nice campground with a lot of amenities, and it was moderately priced at about $86 for the night. The next morning we woke up extra early for our beloved sunrise hike. We've really started getting into doing a sunrise hike at each park, and each time we do it, it proves to be more and more special and definitely worth the effort. We drove to Hurricane Ridge, which is about a 45-minute drive from Port Angeles, and arrived there just in time for the sunrise. We walked up a short distance up to the top of a ridge to watch the sun peek over the mountains. We even saw these adorable deer right beside the trail. They were not scared of us at all. It is always so magical to watch the sun come up in each national park that we do it. Highly recommend doing that. After sunrise, we headed out on the Hurricane Hill Trail, which was near the Hurricane Ridge Visitor Center. Because we got up there so early, parking was readily available and there were very few people on the trail. It was a gorgeous hike with panoramic views from the top. Highly, highly recommend. We saw some wildlife at the top, including these cute sage hens.
So we just finished our hike up to Hurricane Hill, which leaves from the Hurricane Ridge Visitor Center, and I'm just reminded of why we get up early and do things early in the morning, especially during peak times of visiting a national park. So it's the end of July, we're visiting Olympic National Park, and this is prime time for visiting. And yesterday it was really frustrating because we got kind of lazy and we stayed, slept in, and then by the time we went to start going to all of the park attractions, there's 4 billion people there. We had the trailer hooked on and we couldn't find parking spaces, and so we had to miss out on some things because it was just too crowded and there just wasn't places to park. So I'm just even more reminded, and I wanted to remind you guys, that especially when you're here at peak seasons in the national parks, get up early, do your things early. We had that trail almost all to ourselves. We started it right after sunrise, and so we saw all the views up and down, and on the way up we ran into maybe one other group of people. On the way down there was more going up, of course, and then the parking lot is almost full when we got down from it, and there's not a lot of parking spots for this trail, and it's very popular. It's completely paved all the way up to the top, which is really nice. So it makes it so much easier, especially if you have mobility issues. Very well worth it. The mountains were just stunning up there, and really loved it. Get up early, do your things early in the morning. Nobody will be bothering you. You'll have peaceful all to yourself, and then also in the evening, same, like everyone's doing stuff in the late morning to early to late afternoon. And if you start off at 5 o'clock, if it's a busy day and you didn't get an early start, then start off at 5 o'clock and you'll be able to hit some things with not a lot of people bothering you either. So that's a big deal to me. I want peace and serenity when I come here. I don't necessarily want 4 billion people around, but that's just sometimes the way it is when you're here at peak time in the middle of the summer.
We ended our time at Olympic National Park in the Visitor Center in Port Angeles, where we stamped our passport. I mean, kinda. I left the book at home, so we had to use this piece of paper. What was your favorite part of Olympic? Where did you camp? Did you soak in the Sol Duck Hot Springs? Let us know in the comments below. Thank you for watching, guys, and if you found this video helpful, please hit that like button and maybe even consider subscribing to our channel. We would love to have you follow on our journey to visit 100 national parks in the next 4 years while working full-time at our non-remote jobs. And remember, get out there and go see it.